Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Hello, welcome in. I've made a massive error with this stream, I think. Let's find out. Welcome in. Right. Hello, welcome in, everybody. We are 7 minutes late, and that's because I've been talking to myself for 7 minutes. Oh, we've had a disaster. No wonder Mark's not joined in and told me why the stream was so rubbish. So, I've just explained this all to myself, thinking you were listening. Let's start afresh, shall we? Hello, welcome in to Gods and Generals Livestream, everybody. Everyone watching this live, hello, David, Robert, Grim, Mark, welcome in. Everyone watching this back on YouTube as well, hello, welcome in. And yeah, I hope you've all had a good Sunday, all a good week. Sorry I'm a bit rattled because this has all gone massively wrong. But that's fine. Mark, I'm sorry I've missed your message, but because I've got it on my computer as well, it won't ping up on my phone. But so let's quickly address the elephant in the room. So I went to start the stream, accidentally started the wrong one, so I had two streams going at once. So I cancelled one stream, and then it looks like I never started this one properly. So I've just been chatting away and painting for 7 minutes. Just chatting to myself. So that's good. That's good. I was all prepared. I had the stream set up from last week. The sort of the notify me stream thing. I had it all set up, and then ballsed it up. So yeah, massive apologies, people. Everyone watching this back on YouTube don't really matter because you've not sat here for 10 minutes waiting. But hey, so yeah, I saw you in the chat and I was talking to you, but I was actually not live. And it wasn't till Robert put "has he started yet?" I realised I wasn't actually streaming because I had clicked stream, and then for some reason I looked down and it said start streaming. So I don't know what happened there. So yeah, good fun. So we are live again. Yeah, hello everybody, welcome in. As always, if you've got any sort of hobby stuff on the go, let me know what hobby stuff you've got going. I'll have to delete my rubbish stream later on. Yeah, let me know what sort of hobby stuff you're doing. As last time, this stream is sponsored by Thomas, channel supporter, who donated some of these miniatures very kindly. So yeah, we are back on to hopefully do a bit more painting today rather than talking. So we'll see. But yes, hello everybody, welcome in. Grim, I had a look at your channel as well in the week. I see you playing some WDS. Is it WDS, Wargaming Design Studio? Yeah, I'm a big fan of those games. I've not played them in a couple of years. I was part of the American Civil War Games Club, and they do a lot of online games and stuff. And that was good fun. So, but I've not played in a long time. But yeah, it was all like you do a turn, email off the save file, they'd do a turn, send it back. It was good fun. But yeah, I had actually started painting before I realised the stream was not working. I don't know what happened. I think it's because I had two streams up, so I cancelled the other one, and maybe it cancelled this one. I don't really know. So yeah, no, I'm glad you appreciated it, David, because I know you said about it, and I thought it was actually a good idea. It's not something I realised how to do until I looked into it on the Monday at work, and then realised I could just do it via my phone and the app. So yes, I will be setting up one after the stream, or probably tomorrow now. ready for next week, and I'll get it right. It's simple to do. I was just not thinking straight when I just clicked it, did it, and fired up the wrong stream, basically. So, lesson learned. Next time I will maybe get it better and do it right. Grim says, yeah, I love the WS games. Yeah, I'm also a member of the ACWGC. Oh, nice. I would suggest maybe we should fire up again at some point. But yeah. Yeah, maybe we could. Maybe we could, actually. If you're up for it, that is. I was only thinking about because you're playing Gettysburg, and I played a Gettysburg game against someone, and it was really enjoyable because I was playing as Confederates day one, and we were playing the whole battle, and I was just throwing everything at them on McPherson's Ridge, was it? I basically pushed them back to Seminary Ridge, I believe it was. Yeah, it was. But obviously, I don't know whether the player I was playing against didn't necessarily know the battle, maybe. So I was just chucking everything at them, but I had no reserves. But I just knew I had to be aggressive to try push them off the hill to gain advantage for the next days and stuff. And they ended up surrendering on the first day because obviously they just had First Corps and 11th Corps, and they just couldn't keep their troops there. Their troops were just getting bounced back the whole time. Little did they know that I had no reserves and I had everything in play, but I was just pushing them off, and he ended up just calling it. Whereas obviously come the end of the first day into the second day, they'd have got a lot more reinforcements, and I was being really aggressive, to my probably punishment, because a lot of my troops getting chewed up. But obviously, I guess that's the fun of playing a blind game where you had fogs of war and stuff, because he just didn't know my strength, which was I guess historically accurate. You know, as a general of the time, you probably wouldn't. So then he was like, actually, I can't hold this. I'm losing all my troops. I can't hold it. And yeah, it was good. Really good. David said your Facebook page couldn't find anywhere to post pics, etc. Where is it? So there's two pages. There's just a normal page, and then there's like a community page. The community page you can post on. I've been posting. So my page, I've been posting reels and sharing it to the community page. So you might be able to find it that way. If not, I can find a link and post it out. Just because, yeah, it's a good place to drop stuff in there, David. So, Grim said I'll have to play these games. Yeah, I'll have a think about it, mate. And then, because yeah, I was doing like email games, and I just think about whether I'm committing to playing another one anytime soon. But yeah, maybe we can. Again, yeah, drop a message in the Facebook if you're on it, Grim, and we can look at doing it. Thomas says rule 1: never commit your reserves. Yeah, I was a bit naughty, but I think I just knew aggression was key. And the problem is with the Gettysburg scenarios, you get reinforcements, but they're so far away. So I was having to bring troops in from a long way away. I couldn't find anywhere to put my artillery as well, because you have like line of sight and elevation and stuff playing a role in that game. And my artillery just couldn't really shoot at anything. But yeah, maybe it was just mind games. I just got in the US general's head, and he scarpered. So you were completely disobeying Lee's orders. Don't bring on a major engagement. Yeah, well, it worked, didn't it? The link I shared is the community group. Thank you very much, Mark, top moderator. I appreciate it. Grim says, yeah, if the Federals can hold for day 1, they will snatch victory in day 2 and 3. But I've never played the Union the battle yet. Yeah, I guess the Union would be... well, I think maybe the time I played as Confederates probably proved it, that the Union general just didn't believe he had good enough troops to hold a position. And yeah, I was just... It was a really fun game. But like at the time, I can't remember if the chap was American or not. So basically I was doing a turn a day. And that can take a while then. But I really like the American Civil War Games Club. If anyone's not part of it, you sign up online and am I right in thinking it's all to do with WDS games, Grim? But you sign up to it, and they kind of role play it a bit. You can either be Union or Confederate. I went for Confederate. I got assigned to Jackson's Corps, and I'm like a brigadier general in Jackson Corps. But well, no, I've got like a little brigade. But you basically, I think, start off as a lieutenant or something like that. And if you play games, you record the results with the games club, and then they'll assign you experience. So yeah, they'll assign you experience, and you can level up that way. And if you lose games, I think you can drop down slightly. So yeah, so you just play the game. You can obviously choose any scenario. So at a quick glance, I've got Campaign Antietam and Campaign Gettysburg. That's the 2 games I've got. So you can kind of pick any of the scenarios, war them out, and then you just, as long as you log the results with the games club. In fact, that reminds me, I've not done a February muster. I've got to do that. But you just log the results with the games club. And I think that's quite a cool thing. Grim says you don't go down in rank. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Nice. Yeah, so no, it is a really cool game, and I've done a live stream on the channel a long time ago for it. Because I think you could argue it is basically a tabletop war game. The way the units you're using it's a hex based system, so you're moving it. Well, I mean, go check out Grim's YouTube channel, who's doing a series currently about it. So, but yeah, I guess like every time you initiate an action or a fight an action against units, you could argue that that's as good as a roll of the dice. So, yeah, it's a cool system, cool game. Right, I've got to remember. As I'm taking these forces. Right. Yeah, I'll have to pick up a game at some point. Grim, yeah, I've got those. Yeah, nice. That's good. If I played a bit more of it, I would consider collecting more of the campaigns, because I know they do good deals on every now and then. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just not playing enough of it at the moment. I think I did a live stream on the channel, and I was like thinking if people liked it on the channel, then I would do more of it. But I just don't think people were that fussed with it at the time, so I didn't continue with it. But I've actually got a one of the World War II Normandy campaign as well. But that I played that thinking it would be like the American Civil War one, but it's a lot different. A lot different in how it plays. I'll just stick to the World War II. David saying it was 2 core. 2 core versus 2 core, and the Confederate Corps were bigger, so very asymmetrical first day. A delay in action for the Union on first day. Well, yeah, you could argue that's exactly what the Union did, and did it well enough, you know. Is it was it Jubal Early who was told to take the hill if practicable and didn't take it? And that's because the Union just made it too awkward. Buford's cavalry playing a role in that. Well, first and second corps playing a major role. Yeah, I'm just a psychopath and bought 11 during the Christmas sale. Yeah, I think when I joined the games club, they said, oh, you know, next time there's a big sale, just go buy like 10. Or I think am I right? I think it's like 50% off every now and then. And I think they were like, yeah, just go big and buy them. But I didn't do it at the time. Hence I have 41 of them. Yeah, it's Yule. Yeah, sorry, Yule. Yeah, early. Yeah. Richard Yule. Because Side note, Mark, I was going to say, we were watching Firefly the other day, and do you know the assassin guy who goes on the boat? On the ship? I don't know why I said boat. On the spaceship. It's a space program. Do you know the guy who tries to take River? His name's Jubal Early. And Jubal Early is the Early just mentioned in the chat. Jubal Early was a Confederate general. It's quite funny. Don't know if they deliberately did that. Yeah. Right, let me paint this and then I'll read a little bit more of the chat. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad the chat's picked up, because when I wasn't streaming earlier, I was a bit concerned. No one was joining the stream, and that's because I want live. What a fool. Thomas, have I said hello yet? But hello, Thomas, welcome in. Blake, hello, welcome in, Blake. Thomas saying, how are you, Napoleonics, coming along, Matt? Currently working on the 2nd Battalion of the 2nd Regiment of Guard Grenadiers for the Imperial Guard. How are my Napoleonics getting on? They're not getting on at the moment. Purely, I'm not doing a lot of painting at the moment. Any painting I'm doing is Sunday streams, so American Civil War, and then every 2 weeks I do a painting with my mates, like on Discord, where I'm doing my Napoleonics, and it was this week's turn to do it, and we all forgot we had it planned, so didn't do it. So I think it's meant to be this coming Wednesday now. So yeah, they're very much stationary at the moment, the projects, but yes, yeah, slow and steady. I need to I want to get another infantry battalion painted up, and then I'm going to paint up my lancers as a bit of reward for myself for getting through the infantry, because all the infantry in overcoats are a bit bland to paint. So yeah, I've got a lot to do. So I'm just going to try break it up, and as I'm also not really at a threat of playing a game anytime soon as well, so there's that. Noted that Whedon invoked a lot of ACW vibes, as the Independents were partly modelled on the Confederates after the war. Oh. It's a bit risky, modelling things after the Confederates. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get my Discord up on the computer just in case I've missed any other messages. Mark could have saved me a lot of embarrassment earlier. Oh, I don't know if I said this before I was streaming or not, but I did do a bit of hobbying. Stop me if I've already said this, because I can't remember what I've said to you guys and what I haven't. Yeah, I did some hobbying earlier where I painted up or based some of the models that I've previously done. So I've all the cavalry we done on the stream I've based up now. I've had some infantry based up, and then I've based up the ambulance as well, gifted by Mark. So yeah, I've done that, which is something. It's frustrating when I've got a load of models sat there that are basically done. I just need to do one little thing and then they can be boxed up. Right. Blake said, did you ever visit an active war battlefield? Me personally, no, I've not yet. One day. I told my wife like 2-3 years ago that for my 40th I want to go to America and do a battlefield tour trip. Just so I gave her 10 years to plan it. So we'll see. Because yeah, I'd like to do probably first Manassas. Gettysburg would be nice. Antietam would be nice. I guess as much as I can, really. I'll just have to think about it. I have to plan my trip. I know Lee from Bat Bunker HQ. I was talking to him about it probably a couple of years ago now when I went over theirs. And they gave me a list of like 4 different battlefields, and he said you can kind of do this all in a matter of a week of traveling. So yeah, because I guess as well doing Manassas, you're ticking off 2 battles there. So right, let me. We've been going for 20 minutes, and I haven't even put it on the painting table. I'm all over the place tonight. So I didn't start painting till 20 minutes in the stream, so ain't much difference in it. I've just been painting the all the hair on the horses, in case people were wondering and couldn't see. You could do the Peninsula 7 days, Cold Harbour and Petersburg in maybe 4 or 5 days. Yes. It would be nice to make the most of my time there, I must admit. Because yeah, I'm not sure if I can, if 2 weeks would be doable. I don't know if I could keep my family entertained for 2 weeks with me just walking around battlefields. Unless I went off, like unless we did something where we did a family holiday, but they went and did something and I went and done that. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, it'd be nice to do some, I must admit. I know Gettysburg's the big one, and I would genuinely like to do that one. David saying brown coats equals Confederate butternut. Whedon obviously dropped slavery as a Confederate thing and concentrated on the rugged individualism of many Confederates. I'm sure there's family fun to be had around Gettysburg. Well, as far as I'm aware, there's a KFC in Gettysburg or near it. Something like that. I guess that's the downside of being a girl dad. I feel like when I was younger, I was very much into war and stuff. So if I had a son the same age as my daughter, I could probably sell it to him easier. Not my daughter. People from my group spent 2 weeks in the US. They did 3 days at Gettysburg, Antietam, South Mountain, Fredericksburg, Richmond, Petersburg, Cold Harbor, 7 days, and Peninsula and the Valley. Ooh, that's a monumental pilgrimage, that is. I hope it wasn't too much for them, Thomas. I hope they pace themselves. But yeah, no, that sounds nice. I think, yeah, I don't know if I would have the strength to do that many, because that's quite extreme. Not extreme, but quite full on. Because, yeah, I know Gettysburg, I think I'd want to spend a bit of time there. You know, I think you're right, maybe 3 days is a good amount of time. But, yeah, I'm not sure on the other ones. Maybe I just don't know enough about the others to have an opinion yet. Because, yeah, it'd be cool to go to the other ones. All the other battles like Cold Harbor and that, but I don't know massive amount about the battle, so it would be hard to. I guess I'd read up on it before I went. David said, "Don't forget, Chancellorsville is adjacent to the wilderness." Yeah, that's true. 2 birds, 1 stone. Went exclusively for the Civil War sites, says Thomas. I would have went, but I was still in secondary school at the time and had exams. But yeah, they loved it and talked about doing it again. Well, if they're doing it again, mate, you could tag along. Yeah, it's definitely something I want to do. Maybe save up for one of the big anniversaries. Because in... Yeah, in about 7... Yeah, so when I'm 40, I think that'll be a anniversary for Gettysburg, I think. Seven Pines is mainly Richmond International Airport now. Oh, that's a shame. If you're planning a trip to Gettysburg, you should plan for a few days. There's a lot of things to see. Says Blake. Yeah. I've watched like quite a lot of the Battlefield tour videos as well. Is it Stuff Writer who's done a load of videos on it, like Matt Atkinson and that. So I have seen a lot. So I kind of got an idea of what I'd want to look at doing. I'd want to get on quite a few of the tours. Obviously, got some seminars. So yeah, Tom was saying, yeah, everyone I know who went to Gettysburg says you must spend at least 3 days there. Well, I guess as well. If you did 3 days in Gettysburg, you could try follow each day. So you could try do follow the first day and during your first day. Do it like that. That could be interesting. It's the 165th anniversary of First Bull Run now, I think. Oh, what, coming up? Oh, no, as in, yeah. When was first? Yeah. I'm trying to think when the battle was. Yeah, you could spend a day in the museums of Gettysburg alone, blimey. If I went to Gettysburg, I'd probably want to do the Battlefield tours shown on the American Battlefield Trust website. It says David, yeah, nice. Thomas says, yeah, this year, and then, yeah, Grim says, yeah, 21st of July. Yeah. Well, you never know. If I actually get round to recording some gameplay, some games, I'm starting with First Bull Run, so maybe on my time scale it might be ready by then. I thought I'd be doing all the tack tonight on the horses, but getting I haven't done any of the mains. It takes up a lot of time. We're getting there. We're getting there. Thomas, I've also fully redone my 69th in New York to be completely in shirts, except for 3 or 4 figures, with the 2 officers who are in open jackets. Very nice. Is that for to reflect them at first ball run? Yeah, Thomas, that's a cool idea, mate. I would like to try do the first Minnesota in shirts for first ball run, but yeah, that would be a kind of don't need more infantry at the moment. When my 79th New York is ready, then that'll be another unit to paint up as well. I need to crack on with some of my spare units I've got, just some of my primed and needing to be painted. I've got a big blob of Confederates that I want to kind of get on with it. Just get that good feeling of getting some completion done, you know. Yeah, just having that completionist vibe of getting a load of stuff done, getting it out the pile of shame. So, and that's where I'm at with like a lot of the infantry. I just want to get them done. Because yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I've probably got 4 or 5 regiments of Confederates sat there that need painting. Something similar of Union that need painting. So yeah. Grim says, rule number 1, you always need more infantry. Yeah, at the moment though, I'm sort of restricted by my table size. So at the moment, I need more HQs, which is why this is nice doing this and getting the HQs done. Because I feel like if I were to start playing games now, before it was artillery, I didn't have enough artillery, which we did a massive batch on the streams a while ago. But yeah, it's HQ. I think I've got enough. I think I've got enough artillery now, and enough infantry for a 6x4 table. It's just the generals. Have I done these horses the right way round? I don't know. Excuses, he says. Yeah, that's kind of my excuse for not getting more infantry done. Also, just a bit of variety. Painting up the infantry can get a bit tiresome. I think when it comes to my Confederates, though, I might just block paint them all. I might just put them all on the desk together. Rather than paint them up as a 25-man unit, I'm just going to paint them up as a big blob. Just do them all in one hit. It's going to be painful, but it will just get them done. I might just quickly... I'm going to paint this last horse's mane. I need to write on here, actually, what these guys are going to be. Just so at a quick glance over... Yeah, so I'll quickly count up what I've got on there. What I've got to be painted. I keep forgetting, I started a Union regiment a month or so back, just in my spare time, and I just about got the base layers done. But yeah, they probably won't be miles off finishing them, and then that's another unit done. David says 100 brigades, 100 plus brigades. Is that enough infantry, Grim? I see. I'm not. Well, if I had a large table easily accessible to myself, then I might consider these pumping out bigger numbers of stuff. But I'm kind of limited on my table now. I know I could go to a games club and book out a big table, but Thomas says I block paint units if they have the same uniform. For example, my Louisianans all have the Louisiana state uniform of light bluish grey. Yeah, well, my Confederates, I kind of I've just blanket paint them in all a similar style of like mix of greys and butternuts. Now, a lot of my Virginian troops, I was doing a lot more greys, whereas my Georgians and that, I want to maybe just go more butternuts as just so they're still sort of ragtag, but have a bit of uniformity to them. Right, let me see what we've got. So there's a Union regiment there, and then we've got these my prints from Studio Astoria. So is it 5? I don't know how many are there. Oh, so there's some Studio Astoria Confederates here, and then there's some metal Zouaves in like basically what I bought for the 14th Brooklyn, but then I ended up picking up Warlord Games stuff. So I think they're going to be the 11th Indiana. And then we've got my Studio Astoria Iron Brigade. So there's 2 regiments there. And then a regiment of Warlord Games Infantry. So these will be Confederate, I believe. And then an absolute mess of Union here, which, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's maybe 2 or 3 regiments. And that's it, I think. That's it for infantry. Obviously, artillery, I've got 4 crews of artillery primed, ready to paint. And then another unit of cavalry, which I'm saving for some Union Lancers. So, when I get my 3D printed order I ordered, that's coming in with some Lancer arms. So, I've got a chunk of infantry there to paint. Keep me busy, definitely. But yeah, it'd be nice to get on with them. Yeah, I'm thinking that's it. That's all I can think of for the American Civil War stuff. So, right. Let me write these down. I'm trying to avoid painting, so I can't. Right. So, who did I say this was? Reynolds. And at some point, you have to rejig all my Confederate, all my current generals I've got, and you have to rebase them. I need to get hold of a load of sort of standard bearers mounted. That's what I need to do. Although I'm thinking of the Confederates, maybe do a lot more dismounted. Who knows? Who knows? Right. So, and then that leaves Wadsworth and I've got to Google this every time. Just so I know which one's around. Yes, right. Um, I could do both full armies at Fredericksburg. The biggest. I suppose I could do them all as alternates for different seasons. Muddy, dusty, frosty. Blimey. Thomas says I tend to do more variety on blanket rolls. Yeah, I need to do better work on the blanket rolls, to be honest. There we go. Now I know what they're going to be. So. Let's get back to it. Hmm. Surprising not a lot strapper. Might make it easier, who knows. It's just tedious doing rains and that. I don't know if anyone else detests it. It's definitely one of those things that it's worth it. Because, yeah, if you kind of look back, it looks nice, but it's a pain. Oh, just bent the flagpole. Whoops. You're not a fan of horse painting either, Thomas? I know deep down, I know it'll look nice. It's... Guess if I can just get through this lot, then I'm slowly running out of horses to paint. That's my thought behind it. Cool. I wonder if the cheapest way to get more mounted standard bearers is just to buy Perry Miniatures plastic cavalry box set. I just use them all as standard bearers. Not sure. Hey, Walkabout, how are you? Hello, I'm painting along. Not ACW this time. Painting African infantry for the nationalists. Ooh, very nice. What manufacturer are you going for that? But hello, welcome in. Tim, hello, welcome in. How are you? Still working on your Republican Romans? Were you? More or less done. Unless I've got it wrong and you're not working on Republican Romans. Oh, did I paint the back? No, I did. David, painting mounted figures is my least favourite painting chore. I actually don't mind it so much as infantry and artillery. Yeah, I don't mind it. Well, what was the last thing we painted? It was just a load of cavalry, wasn't it? No, it was infantry. So I guess I had a bit of a break from cavalry, but I don't mind it. I think it's just time consuming, you know, and I just want results fast. Now, to be honest, I'll be happy when the union's done because now going forward, any game I play, I've definitely got enough figures for it, like from HQs. So I'm happy about that. My Confederates still need a my Confederate students, like HQs, need a big rejig. So yeah, I might find at some point I'll just have to batch paint up a load of standard bearers because I've got a load of generals painted up, just no standards to accompany them, and it'd be nice to have some. Yeah, and then maybe a few extra figures to act as ADCs and stuff. Spanish Civil War, they are 3D prints from my mini factory, says Walkabout. Oh, very nice. Which Spanish Civil War is this, by the way? I'm guessing there is only one, and is that the one in the 1930s? Am I right in thinking that? Tim, I went up to Salem to a new Wargame store. The folks who own and run it were awesome and gave me a big tour. Great road trip and great purchase. What did you buy, mate? What did you buy? I'm getting the urge to buy something new, but I technically have bought something new. I'm just waiting for it to get printed. So I just need to be not impatient. Paint, dice, and figures, says Tim. What figures did you go for? David said, look on the bright side, cavalry wasn't a major factor in the Civil War. Mounted cavalry wasn't, you're right. Well, I don't know. Well, yeah. Yeah. I can only assume. Yeah, I guess fewer battles then. I don't know. I don't know. I guess in the Napoleonics, they're everywhere. I think they still have a major factor. It was just, and I'm working on. I've got some dismounted cavalry for the Union, which I painted up a very long time ago. Yes, 36 to 39. Thomas, what did you buy? The question that probably banes all wargamers. Yeah, good point. Yeah, Walkabout says, yeah, it was 36 to 39. Grim says, there's quite a few Spanish Civil Wars, but only one called the Civil War, which is 36 to 39. Yeah, very nice. Tim says, the building's over 7,000 square foot. More victory. You bought more Victrix Republican Romans. Nice. You can't have too much infantry. That's the moral of today's stream. That's the lesson learned from today's stream. You can't have too much infantry. You definitely can't have too much Republican Roman infantry. Although I do like their Italian allies boxes. I think where I left my Republican Roman army, I was just starting to do sort of allied cavalry and allied units. So I picked up some Gaelic cavalry. But I know there'd be a bit more Caesarian Romans. But still. There's something about the Victrix Republican Romans. I just really like a certain charm to them. I wish they did more sword arms, because I can't think what they did with the sword arms. Do you only get a couple in the box or something? I can't remember now. Because that's the only thing. Like I think the Warlord Games Caesarian Romans look nice because they're with that sword pose. But I do like the Pelums. Tim says they have a community area for free use of their paints, spray booths, and terrains. Oh, that's really nice. Or terrain materials, sorry. That's really good. David said, Buford and his repeating carbines, question mark. Did they have repeating carbines at Gettysburg for Buford? I assumed they were just normal breech-loading carbines. Almost done with my Speria 28mm American Civil War casualty, says Tim. Very nice. Thomas said yes, they had Spencer repeating rifles, carbines. Oh, right. I didn't realise they all had them, but fair enough. Probably why they did such a job on delaying the Confederates in. Not all, but some did, said Thomas. I see. Cool. Slowly getting there. Good lord, horrible thought. What if Buford's division was actually the Lightning Brigade, or had instead one brigade that was the Lightning Brigade? Nasty thought. Makes you wonder if they, if they didn't hold as well first day. Maybe the battle would have never been fought. I need to learn a bit more about Buford, I think. He's quite an interesting figure. I need to learn more about him. I've heard the Spencers were vital to the sheer amount of firepower Buford laid down. He thought he was facing infantry. Last night I started watching an American Civil War movie on YouTube called Cult. Not the gun, the animal. US Cavalry versus Reb Infantry. Tim said every time they skirmish, the muzzle loading Confederates were firing at the same rate as the cavalry. I started watching some sort of, can't think what it was called now. It seemed quite low budget film. But yeah, that was interesting because I'm wondering if it was made with people who sympathised a lot with the Confederates, perhaps, because it was quite Confederate heavy. I can't remember what film it was. I've watched Colt. It's okay, says Thomas. Grim says, consider Buford does not survive the year either. There are worse movies with that trope. Yeah. John Buford. Right, we're getting maybe somewhere. It looks nice on the lighter coloured horses, the black tack. Stands out more against the skin. Cool. It's my Meredith. That's good. I like the movie Colt because of the storyline and the attention to the uniforms and the accoutrement, camp life, etc. Yeah, I think I was watching something with Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, yeah, the great Civil War buff. And he was talking about sort of inaccurate films and whatnot. Oh, I'm not saying Colt is, but talking about sort of the films and content out there, and how he was saying like he would rather people watch an inaccurate film about the American Civil War and still spark that interest than sort of not watching it and not. So which yeah, I think I kind of maybe agree with, as long as there's content being made out there just to gauge that interest, I don't mind if there's some inaccuracies in it, because I just want to see more American Civil War stuff, ultimately. I tried to do some digging this week about the American Civil War range coming from Warlord, some of their new stuff. So I know we spoke about it previously, and Yeah. I went to a great YouTuber called Stuart Mack over at Miniature Realms. I pestered him, but he had no information, unfortunately. And David says Buford's division was helped by the terrain, parallel low ridges to fall back to and resume firing. Yeah, he's helped by the terrain, but is that because he selected the terrain? I think that's the whole thing with it, isn't he? Like, he's seen good ground, and he knows it's best for them to defend it. Like Wellington of days gone by. What's he say about Waterloo, Wellington? I saw this a year ago and kept it in my pocket or something like that. I don't know if that's an actual quote from him or just something from the film, but still cool. Grim says, yeah, but John Buford dies 16th of December 1863, age 37, sorry. I'm replying to my comment about the films, as long as it's not spewing blatant lies like some movies. Yeah, as long as it's not really damaging the period, then yeah. Which I'm not sure I've seen films like that. I've not really seen any films which makes me turn my head. I know Gods and Generals has its moments, but I still enjoyed the film. You can tell someone who made it was still sort of passionate about the era. You know, they took. I remember seeing a film review about it, and they were criticizing how they filmed certain parts of it and how it was unnecessary to show certain parts of the battlefield. But as someone who's just interested in the period, I found it interesting. I enjoyed the fact that they've gone out their way to say this is Brigadier General Zook, or Colonel Zook at the time, I think, marching his troops at Fredericksburg or something like that. And I appreciate that. I like that. As long as 11th German Corps doesn't get panzers to hold you all back with. Well, someone out there might want to make that. Who knows? Panzers at Gettysburg, it could be called. Be an alternate timeline where Adolf Hitler's got a time machine, goes back to Gettysburg to fight. I guess he would want to fight for the Confederates to essentially destabilize America as we know it. So yeah. Cool. We're looking at you, Patriot and Braveheart and Napoleon. Yeah. Napoleon was such a weird film to watch. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I watched it in the cinema when it came out, and I had a late night viewing, so maybe I was a little bit more tired trying to watch it. But yeah, it was a really weird choice of shooting and story, but it must have had a reason. I don't really know. Yeah, to put the British in trenches at Waterloo just seems really odd and unnecessary. You know, even a quick Google tell you that they didn't have trenches established. So yeah, it was an interesting choice. I still enjoy the film in certain bits. Thomas says Wargames new releases open day video by the Ministry of Miniatures at 250 mark shows them. I recommend showing the video slowing down. Yeah, I did watch that video, but yeah, it was a little bit brief, so I didn't see much of it. I was actually, when I went to Bristol Independent Gaming for the Lardy Day, I didn't realise Ministry of Miniatures were there. I went and checked out their video at some point, maybe this week just gone. I did comment on it and said that I was playing, and they were like, "Oh, you should have come and said hi." But I'm not sure I would recognise them well enough. I have to go back to their videos and watch and see if I can find what they look like for next time. Thomas said, I've sent images to the Facebook group. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it. David said, Michelle Bentine's potty time had the Prussians turning up at Waterloo with panzers. Well, that would surely do it, wouldn't it? Horse done. Yep. Grim says Napoleon is so inaccurate it gives me a brain tumor. Yeah, I refuse to watch it. Yeah, it was strange, but it was clearly a choice to do it like that. So it makes you wonder why. You know, could you say it makes for good cinema? I don't think it has any. The fact that the British troops climb out of their trenches at Waterloo, in the Waterloo scene, that has no impact on the film. You know, you could have the shot from the original film where they are all led down and they stand up in time, and that would be as cinematic as them just climbing up out of trenches. So yeah, very weird choice. Like I said, it must have been a deliberate. It must have been. I don't know. And like with films like that, they'll have some historic whiz there to act as a can't remember what the term is. But yeah, to act as an expert in the field. You would have thought. So I don't know. Deliberately done it for a reason. He felt like he had to do the film like that. It was a shame because there were some really cool bits in it. I like seeing the uniforms. I really like the bit in Napoleon in Egypt purely because I don't know enough about that period. That was cool to see. Even if it was him messing around with the money. Do you have the contrast paint called Snakebite? If so, what is the colour like? Any good for horses? Yeah, so I am using Snakebite leather for some of my horses. I'll show you in a sec. I assume you're referring to snakebite leather. It's because Ridley Scott can't do a good movie in the past 20 years. Dave said, by the way, I do recommend Michelle's Mentines and Potty Time. Very funny and some great model work. Ooh, yeah, I'll have to have a ganders. Yeah, so these horses here, the flesh tone, the fleshes on the horses here are snakebite leather. So I think I've gone for I think that colour is sort of referencing a sorrel horse. Pretty sure it's a sorrel, which is slightly less sorrel are the chestnutty ones. Can't remember. So yeah, I think they work well. I think it works well for the colour. Right, let's carry on. Just realised I've done all this and I haven't been painting the eyes on the horses. So I have just been giving them just a dot of black on the eyes. Awesome. At 28mm, I expect eyelashes, not just eyes. Ah. If I was a good enough painter, David, and I was patient enough and wanted to put the time in, then maybe. But no. The day I start painting eyelashes, I want someone to slap it out of me. Then, and only then, will I have gone too far for my painting. Ooh. Getting there. It's nice to kind of go that extra step and put the buckles on the 28 on the tack as well. This is nice to get that gold pop, and you look at them. Thomas says at 28mm I don't even do eyes. I don't. On horses I will, because they're big, but yeah, not on infantry or anything like that. Right, that's another guy done. So you're not going to do a My Little Pony troop with for your daughter? No. I'm lucky that My Little Pony is not really something she's got into, but then maybe if I want to get her onto this, I should have. Could have bought her paint your own My Little Pony, maybe. Surely they were at Waterloo. Let's ask Ridley Scott. Yeah, he might. He might agree with you, mate. Although doing a might be a good idea to get my daughter painting is print off something like that, or find some miniatures like that. When I was painting my Napoleonic French around Christmas time, she was after some of the horses. She wanted some, so I said to her, when I come to do an order next, I'll order a sprue of horses and she can have them. But I've not done an order yet. Right. Right. Let's. We've got a little bit of time, so I'll go to the eyes. My niece painted me a flag for one of my regiments. If Union, of the Union Infantry. So if you ever come across a regiment with a pink regimental flag, it's probably me. That's a good idea. Doing little flags. Yeah, she does want to paint stuff. I've given her a few miniatures here and there to paint when I'm painting. The last one I had some Games Workshop. Well, not Games Workshop. It was some Empire troops for Old World, but some 3D printed ones by me. I gave her one of them last time. She does it for a little bit and then loses interest and gets bored. Oops. Pretty hell. Bingo. I had a few pieces of paper cut to size to try painting the 69th New York militia flag. I do believe that my nephew will be a little wargamer, as he has great interest in my battalions of men. Yeah, I don't think it's a boys thing. I've got a nephew, so maybe I'll convince my brother and his son to play at some point. I was let the nephew get out of the not so gentle hands stage, so I'd be worried he would be a bit hands-on at the moment, potentially break things. Sometimes this paint just doesn't pool quite right. Notice some of these contrast paints. Cool. Tim says, okay, I see my post under mentions, but I still don't see anyone else's. Are we talking about Facebook? Yeah. Shall I have a look on the Facebook thing? Yeah, so Thomas posted 19 minutes ago. Thomas posted. So it's the group, not the page. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if you can follow that link. So Thomas says that's why I'm cautious at the moment. My nephew is also in the if he can break it, he will, or try. My group does have one full-time female player and a few who show up now and then. Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. Kids at that early age, they're not going to understand. Like Amelia, my daughter, I think she's good now just because I've made it aware. And like, yeah, she's accidentally broken a few things, and I've just been chill about it, but just be a bit like, it's daddy's toys. Tim says I want to upload what I'm working on and see others work. Yeah, check that link out in the chat, Tim, and see if that works. David, are you using Citadel paints? Yeah, I'm mostly using Citadel. A while ago, I started trying to shift to Vallejo or Vallejo. Yeah, I tried to shift to them a while back, and then when contrasts came out, I picked up a load of contrast paints, and then I'm shifting to sort of army speed paints as well. So a bit of both, but yeah, bit of both. Right, what are we doing? Is that the horses done? Saddles now, I guess. Just looking at those things you shared, Thomas, on Facebook. Sort of like command packs then, and that they announced. Grim says, I mostly use war paints and a little bit of contrast. Thomas. Oh, yeah, I just say when he's a bit older he can play, and I'd lend him his first force and even pay for his first army if he wants to go down the wargaming route. Yeah, nice. I think if my daughter ever showed an interest, I would be up for doing it. I just don't know if I would. I don't know what rule system I'd want to play really. I think I'd understand historicals being a bit difficult to get that childlike imagination fired up. You know, maybe a fantasy system might be a bit more interesting. Who knows? Who knows? You said you see a Zouave casualty. Oh yeah, and then Zouave's carrying like a ammo box as well, which is quite cool. No, there's some options out there. I mean, yeah, I'd be keen to see what they come out with. I'd be interested if they do a Zouave with Fez set. Who knows? What was it? So a. This is where I'm just going to scour the internet and see what other people are doing for their generals and their ATCs and whatnot. Also, I'm not sure what colour blue I've got. That's the point. I might not have the right shade of blue. Probably not that one. I'd rather avoid using an acrylic. I'd rather use a contrast. Yeah, really interested in what they will do. Hopefully Diamond Cavalry in resin. I love Perry's dismounted cavalry, but hate working in metal. Hopefully dismounted cavalry in resin, I see. Yeah, I never used to like metal. I like it a lot more now. It's a pain to chip it all the time, which I always do. But runic grey might work. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I used to be massively against metals. I just didn't like them at all. But I really like the details. The details are so crisp compared to what I've experienced with like Perry's plastics, which just seem a bit muted. Which is probably understandable because they're you're gonna get that with plastic sculpts. Thomas says, yeah, that should be dismounted, but I misspelled it. I never used to buy metal. Now I tolerate it. Yeah, I'm in a similar boat to you, Thomas. I think I would say I tolerate. I'm a bit above toleration. Like, I understand its. Like, I can appreciate its like use in my hobby. I do like some of the crisp sculpts you get with it. But yeah, it's just that something to get used to, I guess. And cost is a big thing as well. It's pricey having metal collections. Metal is king, especially in 6mm. Yeah, I think you're probably restricted at that at 6mm there. I'm not sure you would have any other material choice, would you, David? Yeah, I think with metals, I'd just be worried about doing a nice paint job on it and it chipping. I wouldn't go out and do a full metal unit, but would be alright to do a max of 6 miniatures in a unit. And for the command and the likes. Yeah, I've used metal to sort of complement my units through commands and stuff like that. I've done that with Perry miniature commands. I've done it with Crusader miniatures. I'm going to quickly go and sort this guy out, Mr. Rain. Yeah, I bought a load of Crusader command packs a while back and used that to kind of add on to my plastic regiments. Because again, with the plastic regiments, after a while, all the commands look very similar. So try and change it up a bit. Um, Resin 6mm is a thing, but not plastic. I love the feel and heft of metal. My old Blood Bowl metal elves are so much nicer than my plastic Skaven. That was leading reason for me changing my command for the 69th. It looked the same as the 20 other Union commands. Now it's unique that they're in shirts, or at least one of them are. Yeah, yeah, it just brings out. I think with like, if you want to get some different looking units, like ultimately the soldiers themselves are going to be fairly similar, but you can kind of just make them stand out a little bit through the commands. That's what I think anyway. So yeah, you just change it up with the commands and it's a difference, I think. That's just a bit of a shame with the Studio Historia stuff. Now, like, I'm at a point now where, like, oh, I've got infinite supply of infantry if I want it because I can just keep printing it. But they're all the same commands. You know, they've got like very minimal amount of choice for the officers. So yeah, you kind of. But then what I've done is I've got a load of spare officers, so I've used that to supplement my Studio Historia stuff. Yeah, resin 6mm I never knew was a thing. That's interesting. What company does that then? I will sometimes use generals as officers of dismounted, or even use Confederate officers as Union officers. My studio story of Patrick Kelly's regiment commands as its colonel is my Colonel Cross. I see. Yeah, to be honest, I do have some mounted commanders. I know some people out there will use mounted commanders within their regiments. It's in the Napoleonic Wargaming YouTube channel. I think I've looked at some of his stuff in the past, and I think he's done mounted colonels and stuff in regiments, which you could easily do, absolutely. Um, but I just like the uniformity of having my units doing the same thing, having their officers all dismounted. I think next stream we'll have to focus on getting all the saddles done, and then be on to the actual officers. See, some of these metal miniature, like the Warlord game stuff, I noticed have got a lot of stuff on the saddles, which is nice. So you can paint it. Nice. That's it. And then some of the actual officers I'll give proper blankets to. I might do that a sec, actually. We've got a few minutes. Whoops. Not him, not him. Not him. Not him, not him. That's a Confederate. I do only Napoleonics, and that's only if they have more than one battalion. So that's if you'll do a colonel. Mounted. Yeah, nice. Give him a grey one. You get STLs in 6mm or just reduce the size of the printer, apparently. And not a 3D printer owner myself. Yeah, you could definitely get 6mm stuff in 3D printed, I'm sure of it. So I've got a good 2mm collection. That's my grey. Right, we'll get this Confederate General's blanket done, and then we're done. Thomas says a lot of people forget is that despite all his flaws, McClellan invented a saddle that was used in the Civil War and is still in use today. Yeah, of course, I forgot about that. He did. He invented a type of saddle. Yeah, I do. Don't know what colour uniform I'm going to give Van Dorn yet. I have to try look into him a bit and see what he wants. Could go for a generic grey. Be nice to change it up where I can. If anyone's got an idea, a suggestion, what uniform we give Van Dorn? Wonderful. All right. I was recently reminded of that while trying to ride a horse on Valentine's Day. Didn't go great. I don't think Jeb Stewart would take me to ride around the north and getting his name in the papers. You might get his name in the papers for the wrong reasons, mate. But that sounds like an interesting Valentine's Day, mate. I just had a nice quiet one. My daughter went over the in-laws for a sleepover, so me and my wife went out for a curry. It was nice. Right, we're going to end it there anyway. So I appreciate everyone stopping by. Sorry I was 10 minutes late to the stream because I thought I was streaming. But yeah, we got a fair bit done today. We got all the tack painted, the mains painted, and I've just made a start on the saddles. So I've just painted the saddle blankets. So I'll probably hit like a dark leather on the actual saddle itself. and then kind of pick out all the leather details, all the blanket rolls and stuff. Yeah, do all the bits and bobs, and then hopefully we'll get all that done that next stream, I reckon. And then yeah, it'll be on to the officers. Yeah, I've got to do his flagpole. So yeah, we'll end the stream there, just because I don't want to get too late. But thank you very much for everyone watching. Appreciate it. We got Tim, David, Thomas, Blake, Grim, Robert, Mark, Walkabout Games, is it? If I mispronounced it. I think that's everyone. But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming by. Yeah, it was Walkabout Games. I thought I got it right. But I appreciate everyone coming by. Massively appreciate it. So we'll be back next Sunday, I believe. Unless anything crops up. So we'll be back next Sunday to carry on. Tim, absolutely message me on Facebook and I can get you sorted out on the Facebook page, don't worry. Yeah, so we'll be here next Sunday, so I appreciate it. Everyone watching this back on YouTube, thank you very much for getting this far. I massively appreciate it. And I said it at the start, but I'll say it again. If you want to see what we got up to on previous streams, or you just want to go back and watch it, it's all on a playlist, the big ACW Sunday stream playlist. So go check it out. Another massive thanks to Thomas for the miniatures, which we are painting today. So who, if the title hasn't already given it away, we are painting up Reynolds, Major General Reynolds, and Van Dorn for the Confederacy. So cool. But yeah, we'll end the stream. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. Have a good week going forward. And I'll see you next Sunday. Good night.